Have you ever heard of the Sword in the Stone Britain, 5th, 6th century? Well, today we are going to talk about it, so stay tuned. The Sword in the Stone is a well-known element of the Arthurian legends. According to this narrative, Arthur pulled a sword from a stone as proof that he was the one true king of Britain. The story was not found in any early Welsh or other historical account from the period in which Arthur supposedly lived, however, emerging instead from later medieval traditions. And yet, it has become synonymous with Arthur himself. In this episode, we are going to see why exactly it is important. First of all, let's get the basics down. When we say the Sword in the Stone Britain, 5th, 6th century, we are referring to the legend of a young Arthur pulling a sword from a stone to prove his right to the throne. A story that emerged from later medieval traditions, not early Welsh or historical accounts of the period. The 5th, 6th century was a period of post-Roman Britain, during which Arthur was believed to have lived as a leader against the Anglo-Saxons, though his historical existence is not a consensus among historians. We should keep in mind that although the Sword in the Stone is now an important part of the legend of King Arthur, it didn't originate in the 5th or 6th century Britain. Instead, it first appeared in medieval texts written many centuries later. This raises questions about how such a significant detail of the Arthur story came to be included so late in its development. To understand the significance of the Sword in the Stone, it is important to distinguish between the legend itself and the historical context in which Arthur is said to have lived. Let's start by talking about the legend. The story of Arthur pulling the sword from the stone is a key part of the Arthurian legends that developed from the 13th century onwards. This tale serves as a metaphor for Arthur's divine purpose and rightful kingship. By pulling the sword from the stone, Arthur proves that he is the chosen one to rule Britain. The image of the sword stuck in a block of stone is a symbol of a challenge that only the rightful heir can overcome. This narrative reinforces the idea of kingship as something predetermined by fate or God's will, rather than simply a matter of inheritance or conquest. Now let's shift our focus to the historical period. The 5th and 6th centuries were a significant time in British history, marking the period after the withdrawal of Roman troops from Britain and the subsequent migration of various Germanic peoples, including the Anglo-Saxons. During this era, Britain was in a state of flux, facing numerous challenges from external invaders. It was a time often referred to as the Dark Ages.